So it's Monday, March 16th, and we are in the Gulf Stream current. We had nice, well, it got a little bouncy at times last night, but generally light winds and nice smooth sailing until about 11 o'clock this morning, and then some showers went through and we got a pulse of wind. The other thing is the wind's backed more kind of northeast, so we're close hauled here. And it took no time for this Gulf Stream to get really bouncy. I mean, you can see we're still, the winds are up about 15, 18. They've dialed back a bit now. It's about 13 to 15. But it took almost no time for this Gulf Stream to get really sloppy. Because whenever the wind is blowing against that current, it doesn't take too much wind before you get a really sloppy sea state. And it's going down a bit now, but you can see we're still just plunging and churning and getting knocked all around. So this is why you want to watch your weather when you're in the Gulf Stream or crossing the Gulf Stream. This is why it's a big deal. Because if you get strong winds out of the northeast blowing against the Gulf Stream, winds get up 25, 30 knots, conditions can quickly get dangerous for a small boat. And you can risk taking a knockdown and damage and so forth. So I just had to restow the jib forward. I had it on the lee side of the whisker stay there, and because of the plunging, the waves were tearing the sail out of the stops. So I had to move it over onto the windward side where it's a little less vulnerable. But anyway, I'm not too concerned about this. I'm just trusting my weather forecast, which says gradually veering winds and not forecasting much strength either, around 10 knots or so. And the winds aren't going to pick up really until Wednesday. It looks like Wednesday night, but they're going to start coming southerly and picking up. It looks like ahead of a cold front. So hopefully we'll be nearing Beaufort by then. Day. It is Tuesday, the 17th of March, 2020, and we are at 30 degrees, 11 minutes north, 79 degrees, 51 minutes west. We had a pretty rough past 24 hours with the winds coming northeast, not terribly strong, around 15 knots or so, but with that wind blowing against that Gulf Stream, this Gulf Stream really got bouncy. And it was the proverbial driving down the old country road there with potholes like tank traps. We were really getting knocked around. And so the winds have veered southeasterly now, so we can finally start steering course. And as you can see, they've also gotten much lighter. So it's dropped down to about 7 knots or so. And we're still in the Gulf Stream. We still got favorable current, so we're moving right where we want to go. And we got a little less than 300 miles to go to Beaufort. Weather forecast is good. Just generally light southeasterly winds, gradually building out of the south as we get toward the end of the week. Hopefully we'll make Beaufort by Friday. We got bad weather coming in over the weekend. It looks like by Sunday we're gonna have strong to gale force northeasterlies, and I'm betting off Hatteras they're probably gonna be gale force. So I don't care to be out here in that stuff. So other than that, it's the sea state is settling down. You can see we're still rocking and bouncing here, but conditions are moderating, and these winds are continuing to veer. In fact, I'm about to reset the steering vane to head us a little more off the wind, off more on kind of a beam reach. We're moving along nicely. Doing 6-7 knots over the ground here, and probably about 4 or 5 knots through the water. As you can see, there's still this northerly swell as we go down off of it. So hopefully that'll go down pretty soon, and we'll have some nice sailing. Anyway, we'll talk to y'all again tomorrow and see where we're at. Take care, everyone. Bye bye. Ahoy everybody! It is Wednesday, the 18th of March, 2020, and we are at 31 degrees 22 minutes north and 78 degrees 37 minutes west, which leaves us with just over 200 miles to run to Beaufort. We had pretty nice sailing last night. It's kind of beam to broad reaching, and about 7 to 9 knots of wind out of the east-southeast. Actually more like southeast. And so it was really quite pleasant, and I was finally able to catch up on some sleep last night, which was good. However, the winds went absolutely flat calm this morning. And now they've come in from the north, which is dead on our nose. So I fired up the inReach there and got a forecast. And for this area, it's still just light east to southeast winds, kind of in about the 5 to 8 knot range. But we have northerly winds, and I think the reason for that is obvious. We're in an area of convection. The inReach is also saying we should have sunny skies, and as you can see, we got rain showers and clouds all around us. And we are in the Gulf Stream, so it's not unusual to get into pockets of convection. So obviously this is what's generating these northerly winds, and hopefully this will get out of here sooner than later so we can start to get some favorable winds again. The forecast starting tonight into and then onward into the end of the week is building winds from the south. So that's all good direction wise. It looks like it could start getting a bit brisk on Friday. We're going to start getting up 15, 20, maybe winds up in the low 20s. Hopefully we'll be arriving in Beaufort then. As I said, we got a little over 200 miles, and if we get a fair wind with some help from the current, we should be able to do that in less than 48 hours, which would put us in Friday morning. So fingers crossed on that, because the weather does not look too good going into the weekend. Well, the wind just jumped a bit. It's still only about 10-12 knots, but I took that jib in. I can see this shower approaching just in case, because that jib can be a real bear to take in if the wind suddenly jumps to 25 knots. You get a rain squall. Even with the downhaul rigged, it can be quite a bear. So always better to take in sail conservatively. I know I'm getting old, but that's that's what experience teaches you after a while.